I'd now like to request Professor R.P. Bahuguna to say a few words.
Mr. B.N. Verma, Prasoon, Professor Salil Mishra, Professor Mayank Kumar, and Professor Dhruv Kumar Singh. When I was approached about 2 months ago by Mr. Pradeep Narayan Singh to read the book, and the book reached, he handed over the book to my department, in the office of the department. I was not able to read it for a long time. Then another copy came to me from Primus Publications, and I read the book. Since I'm a medievalist, I looked at it from the viewpoint of the post-Mughal 18th century period, and thought that it was a work of local history. After reading the book, what I could make out was that it was basically a family history project, the project of Babu Jagat Singh royal family, and they formed a committee, and a historian was appointed, Dr. Shreya Pathak, and she wrote the detailed report. Then they realized that there has been some historical work on Babu Jagat Singh, if not directly, then part of a book which was written on another theme on Wazir Ali Khan, and there was a chapter on Babu Jagat Singh in that book, and that book in 2 volumes was written by none other than Dr. Qureshi. So they involved him in the project. So ultimately what you have before you is a work written jointly by 2 persons. One is Dr. Qureshi, who is an expert on Awadh history, who has written many books on Awadh history, and who has also written a book on sources for Awadh history. So he's a competent person to undertake an exercise of this kind. And the basic work was done, as I can make out, by Shreya Pathak, who is not there with us today, but I think her efforts also have to be appreciated. So it's a joint work by these 2 scholars. And then I think other members of the project also played a role in mobilizing the material, in collecting information from different archives, including India Office Library and regional archives in Banaras, in Kashi, in Allahabad, and in Calcutta. So on the whole, I think, as Professor Mishra also pointed out, it comes out as a work which is very rich and which can be looked upon as a work of local history and regional history. When I was reading it, I was reminded of some very interesting work that was done many years ago, almost 65 years ago, by Bernard Cohn, the famous anthropologist and historian on Banaras region. One article of Bernard Cohn is referred to in this book also, in the bibliography, but unfortunately the insights have not been properly drawn from Bernard Cohn's work. Bernard Cohn had talked about 3 kinds of political systems in the 18th century, and if you look at those political systems from sitting in Banaras, from Banaras, then you have the Mughal imperial system, which now was represented by the Awadh Nawabi state. Then you have the Raja of Banaras, the Banaras Raj, represented by Balwant Singh and his descendants. Balwant Singh, I'm naming Balwant Singh because he was the king of Banaras for a very long time, for almost 30 years, between 1740 and 1770. So that was a very long period and very eventful period. And then the third tier of this political system is at the local level, the most dynamic level, the zamindars, the local magnates, the tax collectors, the ijaredars, because it is they who provided dynamism at the local level. And Bernard Cohn's study was a study of how these three levels of the political system interacted with each other, reinforced each other, or stood in a kind of hierarchical relationship with each other. So if you are looking for more details, more empirical information on how the regional system functioned, what kind of relationship existed between the central authority, because by the end of the 18th century, this three-tiered political system was reduced to two-tiered. Why? Because the British came and the British replaced the Mughals. The Awadh Nawabi state was also virtually gone. So it became just two-tiered state between the British and the Banaras Raja. The local level elements were also incorporated into the British system. Many of them were removed. Permanent settlement was introduced, as the authors have also said in this book. It was introduced in Banaras in 1795 during the time of, I think, Sir John Shore. And then many local zamindars were virtually destroyed. And that is where, I would like to make my intervention in this entire debate. When I read the book, I realized that Jagat Singh was by and large silent during 1770s and 80s. He made a claim for the rulership of Banaras right from the time when Balwant Singh died. He said he also is part of the ruling family. Because if you look at the history of the family, there are four brothers, and those who became kings belonged to the branch of the family that descended from Mansaram. But then there were other brothers, and I think, and if you look at the chapter which deals with Babu Jagat Singh's upbringing, then his ancestor, his grandfather, was one of the brothers of Mansaram, who was the founder of the Banaras Raj. So, what is interesting is that, as the book very clearly points out, that in 1781, after Jagat Singh is sent into exile, or he leaves Banaras, the British hand over the kingship to a member who belonged to the matrilineal side of the family, who was the son of Balwant Singh's sister. So that is where the problem comes. And this is where, this is the beginning of the story of Babu Jagat Singh from 1780 onwards, when he is trying to claim that he had a claim to be the king of Banaras because he belonged to the patrilineal side, to the male branch of the family. But what is interesting to me, and the authors have not made this point, but I would like to see how they would like to respond to this, that it is only from 1795, after permanent settlement is introduced, and company assumes and company takes the administration of Banaras in its own hands after 1795. And, the Banaras rulers' powers are drastically reduced. The company becomes the ruler of Banaras. Only some family domains are left for the Banaras Raja. And a direct relationship is established now between the company and the zamindars. And many zamindars are removed, amils are removed, they are in danger of losing their traditional rights. This is where Jagat Singh comes into picture. It is here now he starts, writing to Duncan, getting in touch with him, writing to the Governor General, to the Board of Directors. And those letters one letter has been cited in great detail in this book. It has been reproduced in the appendix also. It's a very interesting letter. unfortunately, it has not been used in the way it should have been, because it reveals the mindset of an 18th century zamindar. Very, very rich in terms of information, what he thought about property rights, what he thought about religion, how he, what were his ideas about Shariat, about Dharmashastras, his own theory of kingship, who deserved to be the king and who did not deserve to be the king. So it's this detailed letter, which he might have written in Hindi, because I could only read the English translation. आपके पास शायद हिंदी में होगा हो, तो वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, क्योंकि उसमें पता चलता है कि how his whole how the mental world of an insecure person, a zamindar belonging to the ruling class, operated. This letter would give a lot of information on this aspect. So this is, I think, one area where when you are revising the book, when the authors are revising the book, they can see how this material, which they have used for writing the history of relations between the British and the local Banaras chieftains, can be used for writing on many other aspects. So that is one thing. Secondly, I thought that, I think Muzaffar Alam's work on the 18th century, though it is not on the later part, it is on the early part, could have been used, because on Banaras itself, there is very little information in the book, because Banaras was a prosperous city in the late 18th century, very prosperous. It was basic. I mean, you have cited Bailey in the beginning, but if you read Bailey's work carefully, you would know that there were a large number of merchants, rich merchants, prosperous merchants who played important political role, who were very close to the rulers, and in fact, it appears to me that even Babu Jagat Singh was in contact with the merchants, because this uprising which he planned with Wazir Ali, clearly, the documents clearly show that he wanted money from the merchants to mobilize an army for the purpose of rebellion. So it appears to me that the prosperity of Banaras, the political culture that prevailed in late 18th century Banaras, the political system as it functioned, the transition that was occurring in the 1780s and 90s are all there. But I think there's a need to further work on it and bring it in tune with the existing historiography. And there again, I feel that there could have been a chapter on historiography, particularly historiography of rebellions in the pre-1857 period, and place Babu Jagat Singh's role in a historiographical context. That one chapter can be added on that. So these are some of the history ideas that have occurred to me, and that is all that I wanted to say just now. Maybe there will be other points that will be made during the course of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bahuguna, for enriching the ongoing discussion with your scholarly insights. Thank you very much, sir.